What's up, Reject Nation? We're going to watch today from Cosmic Wonder XMen MCU debut lineup possibly revealed. And I want to thank today's sponsor, which is The Ridge. Now, if you've seen any of our, sponsored segments before, you will know that we try to make all these jokes and everything while also delivering on all the necessary talking points. But I just wanted to come from the heart today. I don't know if Ridge is going to be cool with the way I'm doing this one. I'm just going to be honest.
Ridge is pretty cool.
They sent me over this titanium matte black wallet, right? I effing love this wallet.
Right,
it's like genuinely a great wallet. I have found myself like at the grocery store just recently shopping with my girlfriend. And then as I pay, I'm like, this is a great wallet.
It fits everywhere, like it keeps things organized. The money strap is great.
All my wallets fall apart, and I'm like, this it looks cool. Got me to be more efficient, because I'm like, I only really need my debit card, AAA card, and ID, and cash.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need all this other stuff.
All this junk.
What are the talking points? They can fit up to 12 cards. Comes with your choices. Strap or money clip for cash.
It's RFID blocking, so your information's safe.
More than 30 colors and designs to choose from, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. 30,000 5-star reviews. I went over to see Dan and Alyssa to drop something off my neighbors. They had worked with Ridge too, and I was like, did you guys get a Ridge wallet? Like, yeah, are they great?
Are they great?
Yeah.
So join the Ridge revolution.
If you use our link in the description box, 10% off, includes free worldwide shipping and returns. Father's Day is coming up. Your daddy will love it. You'll love it.
If your dad's like mine, he's got a wallet the size of a burger. Change his life.
How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to my channel, The Cosmic Wonder, where we talk about all things Marvel and everything relating to the MCU. Today, we're going to talk about one of our favorite topics, and that is, of course, the X-Men making their Marvel Cinematic Universe debut. We're all waiting for the X-Men to debut, and it looks like they're going to start to make their appearances starting in Phase 4, and then come together in an Avengers-like film, except only it will be the X-Men film. And today, we have a new report about a possible lineup that Marvel is considering for the X-Men in the MCU. And not only that, but where some of the X-Men might actually come from. So we'll break it down in this video, but first, if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date on everything relating to the MCU, and so you can enter this week's giveaway for a
supposedly, we'll talk about it a little bit more after. The original X-Men might return too, in terms of transitioning this. That's like one main rumor I've heard.
So we all know that the X-Men are coming to the MCU. The question is, when, and also, who are the ones that we're going to see first? Well, a recent report from Mikey Sutton name drops several mutants that we can expect to see in the MCU. Some familiar, some not so familiar, so we'll break down what this report said. It says that Marvel Studios' plans for the X-Men are in the earliest stages of development. The mutants are indeed coming to the MCU and will be introduced Avengers style in other characters' films.
Right.
According to Mikey Sutton's inside sources, they are currently looking at the initial lineup of the X-Men to include Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Thunderbird, Nightcrawler, Sunfire, Havoc, and Storm, who is going to be from Wakanda. According to this report, Mikey says that Kevin Feige wants an all-new, all-different approach, at least somewhat, compared to what Fox did for so long with the X-Men. The president of Marvel Studios is looking at focusing on the team as a school, with some students joining Professor X on missions while others still studying and training, essentially a Hogwarts for mutants. Now, although this is in very early development and there is no concrete plans right now, no script written or anything, the next part could be a potential spoiler. So proceed at your own will. The seriousness of what Professor Xavier's school does and what the X-Men do is brought to surface when, spoiler alert, Thunderbird is killed during a trip to Krakoa. Mikey says that no scripts have been written as of yet. There's only brainstorming and discussions at this point, but this is reportedly where they are at present time.
Their meetings like wiretapped.
Now, it's no surprise that Marvel Studios has already begun brainstorming on what they plan to do with the X-Men. Marvel has the next 5 years mapped out on which movies they're going to do and which characters they're going to introduce into the MCU.
The George Phoenix.
And they have an idea of what they want to do over the next 10 years as well. In fact, Kevin Feige name-dropped mutants at San Diego Comic-Con of 2019. So we we know that they are definitely already brainstorming on what to do with the X-Men. Now, in this report, there are three main things that we need to focus on, and the first one is the lineup. Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Thunderbird, Nightcrawler, Sunfire, Havoc, and Storm. Now, it's important to note that these are not going to be the only X-Men introduced in the MCU at this time.
That's
impossible. In fact, this report does mention Professor Xavier and his school. And if we have his school in the MCU, that means we're going to have many, many different mutants. What this lineup implies is that these are the characters that are actually going to make up the X-Men team. The team that goes out and does missions together. Just as the report stated, some are going to go out and some are going to stay and study. And the lineup is quite good and a little bit unexpected, but that's what Kevin Feige is going to want to do. He's going to bring in some of the lesser known X-Men and bring them to the big screen. And some of the bigger ones are unfortunately going to take a seat back for a little bit so the Fox X-Men
Spill the hype, man. Post-credit scene.
Another report from Mikey Sutton says that Magneto will eventually come and be the villain, but also will eventually go on to lead the X-Men against Dr. Doom. But in this report, he does state that this is going to be several years down the road, most likely not until the next Avengers Endgame level event. And that's because most of the movies that Fox did concerning the X-Men had Magneto in it. His character and other main characters need to cool down a bit until they come into the MCU. However, they are keeping characters like Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and Storm. And Storm is the second thing that this report talks about that is really, really big because her story is going to tie the MCU together in a really big way. This report says that Storm is going to be from Wakanda. This is something that
maybe she'll appear in Black Panther
2. That would be so cool. I myself have done a few videos on this, and that is because of the relationship between Storm and T'Challa, aka Black Panther. They have a very long history together in the comics, and their story actually leads up to the Avengers versus X-Men. Black Panther and Storm, or T'Challa and Aurora, both actually meet when they are young. In fact, they're children when they meet for the very first time. Aurora was in Cairo, and her parents were killed, which left her alone wandering the desert. She eventually decides to go back to her mother's homeland in Kenya, but while on her travels, she comes across T'Challa, who was being kidnapped at the time. Using her weather-controlling powers, she rescues him. The two of them hit it off and have instant chemistry, becoming friends and a little bit more. Now, eventually, they would grow up, and Black Panther would go on to join the Avengers, and Storm would go on to join the X-Men. After going separate ways, their lives kept them busy, but they would bump into each other here and there, until eventually Black Panther decided that it was time for them to get married. In 2006, in Black Panther Volume 4, number 14 and 15, T'Challa took to a knee and proposed to Storm. Now, Storm resisted at first, expressing her heartbreak from them being separated as kids, but ultimately would agree, and the two of them would go on to get married. Now, this is the extremely important part to the MCU, and here's why. The wedding was an extremely big deal. At the time in the comics, they actually got married during the Civil War ceasefire event. But it was such a big deal that the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four
this would be such a great way to build it up and tie it in.
Everyone agreed to put it behind them and be peaceful for the
reinvent
wedding. It was such a big deal that the Watcher himself even showed up to watch them get married. This could be an event in which we see the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four all together for the very first time in the MCU. Now, I know a lot of people are asking,
side of the church did Tony Stark and
Nakia from Black Panther? Well, we didn't see Nakia in Avengers Infinity War or Avengers Endgame. And at the time when Black Panther came out, Marvel actually didn't own the rights to the Fox X-Men characters yet. But they do now, and now that they do, they might have different plans for Black Panther. Nakia may show up again, but also she may be gone, and Storm could come into play.
But Nakia and him started off in that movie, and they had
However,
a former
in the comics,
love, so maybe
they would
they're not
eventually
together.
go on to get a divorce. And this divorce was a pretty big deal because it was caused by the Avengers versus the X-Men. 5 of the X-Men, including Namor, would get possessed by the Phoenix Force, and while possessed by the Phoenix Force, Namor practically destroyed Wakanda. Now, since Storm was an X-Men, during this event, she sided with the X-Men. After Wakanda was destroyed, she returned to Wakanda to tell T'Challa that she was sorry, but he told her that he annulled the wedding and he was no longer her husband. Now, this is a big deal because there's been reports that the ultimate goal for the X-Men entering the MCU is going to be an Avengers versus X-Men film. And if Marvel's planning on going even just a little bit with this story, Storm being in the MCU is going to be a very big deal. And it sounds like she's going to be part of the original MCU X-Men team. Now, the third thing that's very important to talk about is Weapon X. Now, Weapon X refers to a program, the Super Soldier program, but also Wolverine. Weapon X, Weapon 10 is Wolverine. Now, you may have caught my video that I did not too long
And
ago
Task
about
Force
the
X
Weapon
is?
X program. The Weapon X program has actually
Yeah.
been in the MCU for a
Wolverine.
very long
Nope.
time.
I'm
It's
trying to
just
pay
had
attention to
many
this
different
video
names.
answers.
Weapon X, Weapon Plus, they're both interchangeable. But what it really is the Super Soldier program. Wolverine is Weapon 10. Captain America was Weapon number 1. He was the first experiment for the program. In the Incredible Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross said that he basically restarted the Weapons Plus program. And that's what he's going to be doing in Phase 4. When we start off with Black Widow, leading into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Thunderbolt Ross is going to be looking for new serum. We know that he's going to be looking for the serum in Black Widow, and then in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we know that the new Captain America is going to be given a new Super Soldier serum. But the new serum that U.S. Agent John Walker is going to be given is going to be used to control his mind. And this is what the Weapon X program is going to do. Create essentially super soldiers, super people, and be able to control
Right.
them. Now, since we have a Weapon X program, that means that Wolverine is going to be a part of that program according to this report. Which probably means that Wolverine has been in the MCU for some time now. He's been a project, an experiment of the Weapon X program.
gonna say that about a lot of the
Captain America
mutants.
was Weapon number 1, and it's been
Is
many,
Task Force
many
X
years since
from
Captain
Origins
America the
Wolverine?
First Avenger. There are definitely more than 10 Weapon X experiments already in the MCU. And fun fact, Deadpool is part of the Weapon X program as well. And right now, of course, we know that Marvel
that.
is working on another Deadpool film. So, according to this report, we are getting the X-Men in the MCU soon with a new lineup. Wolverine, of course, eventually making his way, and Deadpool, of course,
Looks like the
eventually.
guy from
But
Friends
what do you
Ferdinand.
think about this report? What do you think about the new lineup? What do you think about Storm being from Wakanda? And do you think she's going to have a relationship with Black Panther? And what do you think about Wolverine coming in with the Weapon X program? Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay up to date on everything relating to the MCU. For live updates, you can follow me on Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
Okay, all right. Some solid information here.
Woof, woof.
Potentially.
This could all not happen,
Yeah.
but it sounds rad.
My main takeaway with this, out of the two things being reported on here that I feel like are most likely going to occur, Aurora Monroe being from Wakanda and having a love relationship of some kind, maybe not married, but some kind of romantic relationship, to say the least, with T'Challa. Then the Weapon X program slowly being introduced, because Warren's 100% right. That coincides with the Super Soldier Serum from the first Avenger, and then of course, teasing General Thunderbolt Ross being in Black Widow, and him trying to, find a better type of juice for this to not only have superpowers but also use mind control, because clearly when you're not able to control them, things get out of hand. Those are the two ingredients that I see. I could almost say certainly. I'd be very, very, very surprised, especially if they don't use Storm as a romantic entanglement with T'Challa, considering the comic story, considering that we have Black Panther. What I like about this initial tease of a possible lineup, this lineup has a mix of characters that we've seen in the X-Men movies already who didn't really get due service.
Hey, you know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
Everyone can agree that Cyclops really got the short end of the stick there.
Yeah.
And then Havoc is in X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past, and then you have Nightcrawler, who had a lot of screen time in X2, whatever, some type of treatment in Apocalypse. Marvel Girl having 3 characters now, where you got Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Marvel Girl.
Let's get more. Let's get Lady Marvel, Dr. Marvel, Professor Marvel.
And then on top of that, in Captain Marvel, you got Marvel.
Marvel?
Yeah,
M. Marvel. Let's do them all.
To me, the whole thing with Thunderbird being killed just sounds like brainstorming at this point. Specific detailed plot points are not anything I'm going to believe right now. But there's things here where I'm like, oh no, they're definitely going to work with that. Like Weapon X just makes sense by the time you get to it's the natural trajectory of this situation after having Captain America. Black Panther, Aurora, that makes sense. X-Men versus Avengers, having another type of Civil War movie, but really doing it with X-Men. Like that goes...
culminating it like it's an Avengers and not a Captain America sequel.
That goes 100% in tune with my original initial idea that I wanted for when you're introducing the mutants, because everyone so far has gotten their power, unless you're like some god or from some other planet. Most of the characters that we've gotten have gotten their powers, gamma rays, radioactive spider bite, Tony Stark,
outside force,
super soldier serum. Whereas this one, the mutants, these are people who are born in Earth with these abilities. Are they a threat? So I don't know if that's the path they're going to go down, but the idea of X-Men versus Avengers is very exciting, and coming to a resolution where they do team up. I love that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Totally.
I got a lot of thoughts, John. Sorry.
You got any more?
I really didn't know.
I know.
This happens to be about a lot of things I'm very invested in.
Yeah, I know. That would keep that passion alive. Because this does sound like a really exciting plan, and especially, these are vague details, and we don't know how many of them are going to materialize. But especially if that's the plan for like the end of a decade or something like that, is to build up the X-Men and then finally have this conflict between them and the Avengers, and then have that lead into another new age. Like, I like the concept of having a massive conflict that's even more conflicting than having just a big bad villain. It's like, there are characters on both sides who we're probably going to love and care about. We love the X-Men, we love the Avengers. Like, we're going to have a lot of internal conflict, and I feel like that is a great way to cap off a phase, and also to, knock knock, let the venom in. Really punctuate the introduction and really make it a huge event. And I love that idea. And also I really enjoy the like hidden history stuff where like it makes a lot of sense that if during World War II they were experimenting with super soldier serum and Captain America's weapon won, in the background all this time they've been working, and that even if this wasn't the plan from the very beginning, there's gonna be stuff that they can go in and show you like, oh, this had context you weren't aware of. Get ready for more Easter egg breakdown. Having Storm, having like a strong, it's not really my place to comment this, I guess, but like having a strong black female character to be such a crucial role seems like a really cool thing. Especially on the heels of Captain Karen, of Karen Marvel. I like Captain Marvel, but that's ground not broken yet, so I think that could also be really cool to see.
100%, man. 100%, man.
Yeah. Don't want to say the wrong thing.
I bet in Black Panther 2 we're going to see Aurora. I would not be surprised, and I'm really hoping they do. I mean, imagine that in the trailer. Imagine that in the trailer.
Dude, anytime in that trailer and that movie that you see weather, you're just going to be like, is it storm? Is she coming? Is it time? Oh, it looks like it's about to rain. Is she making her entrance?
Oh, there's a storm coming.
And then like some villain character's not going to know what they mean by that, but then Aurora's going to show up, and there you go.
I've never been more excited for Storm to be a romantic interest in the man.
Hey, maybe there could be a Storm movie where T'Challa is the romantic interest who needs saving.
I don't know the full ins and out details of the other report, which I'm now seeing here, the Cosmic Wonder to do a video on it, that the original X-Men, and we've heard this talk before, the original X-Men, some of them might be appearing, which I think could make sense for the hand-me-off and the transition. And the reason why is not just because of MCU, but more importantly, Deadpool. The fact that they're going to keep the same Deadpool around, the fact that he was birthed, the Ryan Reynolds version, initially in the X-Men franchise from Fox, and they've already had that big thing about Patrick Stewart having talks with Kevin Feige about possibly trying to like help hand off this franchise in some way. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. The other thing I'll add on, Cyclops. I am hoping, because Cyclops in the comics, of the unit of the X-Men, was the leader in the field. It would be cool if we really do get Cyclops introduced when they're doing the official X-Men debut of him being the leader. I know some people might be like, white male lead. I respect that. It's fair.
But also
I still want it though. All right, yeah, I do.
At least let him die on screen, okay?
What do you think about this report? Leave your thoughts down below. Get one of these nifty Ridge wallets. God damn, they're so cool.
Ridge.com/RejectNation.
Only wallet I've ever talked about in like ever in life. I'm like, did you see this wallet? Subscribe, click that note. You just will not know how cool this is until you're holding one in your hand.
Promo code RejectNation. Plus, they're so fun to play with.
Yeah.
Too. Like they got this nifty little thing
looks
where
cool
you can
to whip out too when you're buying
points out
stuff.
Phantom. It's perfect.
Subscribe to the Real Jack's Cooking Notification Wonder.
like.
There are patrons who are pledged for deleted takes and behind the scenes stuff. They also get a name call out. So want to shout a few of these guys out right now. Abby Smith.
Burns Reviews.
Chase Gardner.
Deontay W, aka Tongue Punch Fartbox.
Gregory Bullock.
Ian Sotelo.
Javier Gomez.
Jen Smith.
Justin Martin.
Kayla Waters.
Kenny Waters.
Lucas Romero.
Melanie Fabre.
Natalie Doran.
Paul PJ.
Pandemic.
Ruby.
Runar K.
Ryan Beatty. Darth Yoda. Order 66.
Shifty Crane.
Spencer.
Thanks, guys.
Nope, we're not done.
We're not done yet. Brianna Davidson.
James Nobriga.
Josh.
Philip J. Smith Jr. Thank you guys so much for pledging to our Patreon and showing your support. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying yourselves over there. Much love. Check us on Patreon. And also right now, I mean, if you're watching this video, you can see that you have the option to donate to the Bail Project. I've been raising some money here and there for it. It's going to be on our channel for a while. So thank you guys so much. See you guys soon.